So what we're going to go through today is we're going to use Zoom through Canvas, and I'm going to show you how to log into Zoom first of all, because if it's the first time you're logging into Zoom, it has to set up your account. So I'm going to have you go ahead and do that, and then we're going to actually set up a meeting through Canvas, invite students, and then we'll run through a Zoom meeting so you can see all the different functionality of it. If you have questions, like Ethan said, if you could just hold them to the end, write a note or something, and we'll go through questions at the end. So you should all be on this main page. You can get here through CSB+SJU.zoom.us or through the Tools menu. There's also the Zoom video conferencing icon. And I want you to go ahead and click on Sign In at the bottom. If anybody has trouble signing in, let me know, but it should automatically sign you in. If it asks to set up a password, go ahead and type in your normal password. And you should be on the same screen that I'm at. If not, please let us know. So for now, we are going to just leave this screen here because we'll refer to it later. But now that you have your account, you're in your account, we need to actually go into Canvas. So go ahead and open another tab at the top. And if we go to CSB+SJU.edu, and then you can go to Tools and log into Canvas. Once you're in Canvas, click into any course. It doesn't matter which course, because we aren't going to actually send the meeting invite to your students, but click into any course. Okay, the first thing we have to do is add Zoom to your left navigation. So you'll notice on mine that Zoom is in the left navigation here. So you'll have to add that in for each course. Unfortunately, we couldn't globally add it. So to do so, scroll all the way to the bottom and choose Settings. Once you're in Settings, you should see a Navigation tab at the top. Click on Navigation. Once you're in Navigation, if you scroll down a bit, you should see a section that says Drag Items here to hide them from students.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've hidden a lot of things.
Scroll down under Navigation. And now when you see Zoom, there should be 3 dots to the right of Zoom.
Yeah.
Click those 3 dots and choose Enable.
Okay.
As soon as you click those 3 dots and choose Enable, it should move up to your navigation. And now make sure to save. So scroll all the way to the bottom and save that change. And you will again have to do that for each course. So if you have multiple courses, go to the settings and bring that in. Okay, so now you should see Zoom on your far left navigation of your course. Does everybody see that? Click on Zoom. So once you clicked in Zoom, you should see the first tab you're on is upcoming meetings, there's a previous meetings, etc. We're going to actually schedule a meeting. So at the very top right, click on the tab that says Schedule a New Meeting. Okay, once you clicked on Schedule a New Meeting, go ahead and fill in a topic, and you could even call it your class name with the time that it's at. So you could say Wednesday's class 9:40 or however you want to label it. Okay, and as you scroll down, you can put a description in if you'd like. So if you wanted to tell the students, here's where you joined the Zoom meeting. You would fill in the exact date and time of the meeting. So I'm going to change my time a bit. Same with the duration. Note, if you do put it for an hour, after an hour Zoom doesn't close you out of the meeting, so you can still keep going. It just gives an approximate time for it. As you scroll down, there shouldn't be any other changes you'll need to make except under the meeting options. So scroll down to the meeting options portion. And notice where it has checkmark Enable to join before host. I would uncheck mark that. Because if you leave that check marked, sometimes if they join before you, they become the host and they have some of the meeting controls. So I would just uncheck that. That way too, they can't enter the meeting or the class until you are in there. So by default, I would uncheck that. And now scroll all the way to the bottom and go ahead and save this. Okay, so now you should see your meeting invite here. Currently, you don't have anyone invited to the meeting. So if you wanted to record a session, just your lecture, this is how you would do it. You would start the meeting, record it, which I'll show you in a bit, but no one at this point is invited yet. So now if you want to invite your students, we have to copy this invitation. So I scrolled up to the top of my invitation here, and to the right you should see copy the invitation. Click on that. It's to the right of your URL, join URL. So copy the invitation. So now once you're in copy the invitation, there's a copy meeting invite at the bottom of the dialog box. Click on copy meeting invitation. It copies it to your clipboard. So now, once we do that, we are going to go to your inbox in Canvas and invite your students. So on the far left, on the dark gray toolbar, choose inbox. It's under calendar, so it's towards the bottom. Okay, so we are going to compose a new message. So above the envelope, there's a pencil with a paper icon. When you hover over it, compose a new message. Click on that. And what I like to do right away is paste that meeting invite in the body of the email, just to make sure I don't lose it out of my clipboard. So click in there and Control V, Command C, depending if you're on a Mac, it's Command C, a PC, it's Control V, and paste the meeting invite in the body of that email. At the top where it says Select Course, click the drop down. And go to your favorite courses. Those should be the courses you have this semester. And choose a course. So I see my CR training. I'm going to choose that course. And then in the To section, you'll actually have to click on the address book to the right of To. So it looks like a little book with a person on it. Click on that. If you're doing it for separate sections, that's where you'll go to course sections and choose the section. Yep, if you're doing this for all your students, you just choose students and all in students. And that should add into the To. You can go ahead and type in a subject, and I would encourage you to type in Zoom class and the time, just so they see that when their meeting invite comes up. And then here's where you would hit send, but don't hit send or it'll send it to your class. I'm going to actually hit send, so I have that meeting. If you cancel out, it'll still save your meeting, but you don't want to send this to your students at this point. Well, they're going to log in through Canvas, just like you did. If they have their notifications turned on in Canvas, they will get an email as well. But they're going to log in to Canvas and click on Zoom, and I'll show you how to start the meeting. So for them, it should be pretty easy. I'm going to have us go back to our course in Canvas. So click on your dashboard. We do have sessions for students as well, and then we have all the information sheets out there for them. No, not at this point.
My students are smarter than me.
So click into the course you added the Zoom meeting. And then I'm going to go to Zoom on the left. This is exactly what the students would do as well the day of the training, and what you would do too. They're going to click into Zoom. So now under upcoming meetings, here's that meeting I just set up. You should see yours too. The only difference is I invited people to my meeting and you haven't yet. So you're going to click on Start. Students will see Join. And you can go ahead and click on Start. It'll launch the Zoom program. You might have to click on Open Zoom Meetings. This will be the exact same for students. You can click Allow. Yep, if it asks you to allow, go ahead and choose Allow. I'm going to choose join with computer audio. So you'll want to click that so your audio is on. And now you should be in the Zoom meeting. I'm going to go through all the options on the bottom toolbar. Notice when your mouse moves away, that toolbar goes away after a few seconds. But then if you just move your mouse, that toolbar will come back. And I'm going to actually add Josh into the meeting so you can see what a live meeting looks like with someone. So at the bottom, you have the mute the mic. So if I wanted to mute my mic at any time, or if the students are sending you a message they can't hear you, the very first icon is mute. If I select that, that mutes my mic, but it also tells me that I'm muted. To unmute, I just click that microphone again, and it's unmuted. To start my video, right now my video is off because it has the red strike through, but if I click to start the video, it turns on my camera, and there I am. I'm going to invite Josh to this meeting so that you can see what it looks like. So at any time during your class, you can invite people into it. So if you haven't invited and you wanted another person to join, at the bottom I have an invite. I actually need to open up my Outlook as well. And I'm going to Josh is in the meeting. So now notice Josh has his camera on. I'm going to start my camera as well. And there we both are. I'm not sure why I look so scary. What's going on with that? Notice at the top I have a speaker view. Oh, go ahead. I can click on speaker view at the top so that it just puts me as a thumbnail and I can see the students so that I'm not just focused on all the students. So I can change between gallery view and speaker view. Whoever's talking, it'll bring that view up and see it has the outline around me. What I always like to turn on is notice as you hover your manage participants at the very bottom. I always like to click that on when I start the meeting so that I can see the people that are coming into the meeting. So it's showing me as people are logging in, it shows me that Josh has his mic muted. But as I hover over his name, I can go to the More option. I could chat with him. I could make him a host. I could unmute him. So as the host, you can take care of any of the students by muting, unmuting, making them a host. So for instance, if you have a student that has to do a presentation, you can actually make them the host for a bit. So I'm going to make Josh the host. Oops. I'm going to make him the host, not the co-host. So now Josh is the host. But notice at any time, so now he could present his screen if he wants to, and I'll show you that in a bit. But notice at the very bottom, I can reclaim the host at any time. So you can make a student the host if they need to present, and then I just reclaimed it, so now I'm back to being the host. And what that means is the host has the option to record, share their screen, do breakout rooms, etc. And what I encourage you, if you do have PowerPoints that you want to share with your class or Excel files, to have them open beforehand. Otherwise, you have to go to Start and open them. So you should have them open beforehand. So now I'm back in my meeting, and at the very bottom, there's a Share function. I'm going to click on Share. Now, I have a couple options. I have a whiteboard in here to do exactly what Tom was saying, and I'll show you that in a bit. But I'm going to share a PowerPoint. So I have my PowerPoint open already. At this point, if I didn't, I would need to go to Start and open my file. But this should show me everything that I currently have open and am using. I'm going to go to my PowerPoint and choose Share at the bottom. So now anybody in this class, in this Zoom meeting, this would take over their screen. And I could walk through, play my PowerPoint or my Excel file. They can't do anything on it. They would just be watching what I'm presenting. When I'm done, I just choose at the very top to stop sharing. But also under that share feature, there is a whiteboard. So notice that I'm in share, and to the right of my screen, I have a whiteboard. And this is a neat function. When I choose share, it opens up my whiteboard and I can do text. So if I click text, I can start typing. I can draw, so I can choose to draw. Spotlight would be highlighting. I can erase what I've done. I can choose under format what colors to use. And just notice you undo, redo. So there would be your whiteboard. It's not like writing because you'd have to type, but at the same time if you're doing, notes and stuff, or if you have equations, you could put them in like Word or somewhere and then just bring them up. Yeah.
Out of curiosity, how many of you would be using recordings rather than doing a live classroom setting in the occasion that we have to move online? Would you, so about half? Otherwise you would do live Zoom sessions versus recordings, I take it?
Or both.
Or both?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd certainly want to know how to do it.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or short snippets of recordings.
Right.
Because I would never lecture for an entire class. I might have 5 or 10 minutes or things interjected. So
Okay.
Yep.
That's helpful to know for us making training videos or
Yeah.
things like that. So, okay.
So then in that case, you would just do a meeting. Like here I'm in a meeting, no one's invited. I would just hit record and start talking. If I want them to see me, I'd start my video. I can use my whiteboard. I can share files with them. And then it saves in the cloud and I share that file with my class.
So when I use the share option, I can use anything from my computer, and that will show on the screen. Right?
Exactly. I would, like I said, encourage you to open it first. So if it's Excel document or a program, open so it's on the background. So when you go to the share, you'll see it listed. Otherwise, you won't see it listed.
So let's say you wanted to show a snippet from a YouTube video.
Yep.
You had it up and playing, so when you shared it
Yep.
with the students, and you can still go into the YouTube window and click play and
Correct.
stop.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
So your YouTube would essentially be live within Zoom.
Correct.
What
Yep.
about the audio?
They should be able to hear that as well because that'll replace the audio of him talking.
Okay.
The record option. So if you want to record your class, or let's say just you are doing a recording, a lecture, as soon as you come in here and start, you would click the record button at the top. As soon as I click that, notice at the top left, there's a recording. It's showing me that I'm recording, and anyone in the meeting as well will know that I'm recording because it shows them the same icon that I'm recording it.
She's got the stuff up on top. I've never seen that up on top. Those icons up on top. They're just
At any time I can pause the recording, so if you're doing a class and they want to take a quick break,
That's because she's
I can pause it.
the host.
So now the recording is paused,
That would show up if I
Yes.
and then I can restart it. I'm going to just let this record as I go through. I'll show you then how I can stop the recording and where it saves. Okay, so the next feature are polls. I'm going to click on polls. Go ahead and select polls at the bottom. This is if you wanted to do a quick poll of your class. The one thing that it doesn't do is if I had a question and I set the poll to launch, I can't go and add another question. So you'll probably want to know what questions you want to add for the poll, so you add them when you at the time. So click on add a question in the middle. Notice that it brought me out of my Zoom meeting, but actually brought me into the web base. So at the top, I can enter a title for the poll if I want. I'm not sure why and then I'm going to type my question in the middle section here. Oops. So I'm going to type in my question, and it can be single choice or multiple choice. I can make this anonymous if I want, so that I don't know who's answered what, so I can totally anonymize it by checking the anonymous. I need to put in at least 2 answers for this poll. And notice you have several options to put in answers. As I scroll down, here's where if I need to add a new question, at the very bottom I could add a new question, but I'm going to go ahead and save this. Notice I'm back at csbsju.zoom.us. My meeting is still going. I just need to go to the bottom of my taskbar, and when I hover over it, I can see my meeting, and I'm going to click into that meeting again. So that's the only bit of a tricky part. You have to go back into the meeting. My poll is here, and I'm going to launch the poll at the very bottom. So now I can watch as the students are answering the poll. So Josh is going to answer the poll. And then as soon as he does, I can see that he's answered it, and I can end the polling. So I can choose to share the results or relaunch it.
I just canceled it.
So let's say a student didn't get to take the poll and they're like, wait, I could relaunch this. I'm going to share my results. So now Josh should see the results on his screen.
I don't want to.
And when I'm done, I'm going to just stop sharing the results and close out of the poll. To the right of share is chat. Now I have my participants screen open. If I didn't, when I click on chat, it'll automatically open that. So you can choose to send a chat to everyone in the class or just to individual people. At the bottom is where you notice who it's to. So if I wanted to send this to everyone, or I can choose an individual student. So let's say a student forgot to mute their mic, or there's a lot of background noise, I could send them a quick chat telling them, please mute your mic. Or if I had to ask them a quick question. Otherwise, this is going to everyone. I'm going to type it and hit enter, and everyone should be able to see that chat that's in the meeting. And then they can reply. Let's see. Breakout rooms. So if you wanted to have your students break out into groups, you can have them set up in a breakout room. So go ahead and click on breakout rooms. You won't see a lot in here because you don't have anybody invited to your meeting yet. But I can choose how many rooms that I want and how many participants. And I can either have the computer automatically pull my students and set them in rooms, or I can do it manually. The one thing is, if I do it manually, I do it right now. I can't set this up beforehand. I'm going to create my room, and when I'm ready, I open all rooms. So right now Josh is being asked to join the breakout room. I would see all of my groups here. So if I had 6 of them, I can join any of the rooms at any time. So to the right of each group, I have a join that I can click and join at any time. I can also broadcast a message to all of them. So at the very bottom is broadcast a message. So let's say I want to give them a 5-minute warning, let them know in 5 minutes we'll come back and reconvene. And then I would just broadcast that, and everyone would see that. When I'm ready to close the rooms, it gives them a 1-minute warning, so they have a minute to kind of finish up what they're doing before it actually brings them back to the big meeting. So I'm going to close out of this, and now it brought me back. And you can do that at any time throughout your meeting or your classes. Do the breakout rooms, you just set them up on the fly. Alright, so now as soon as I'm done with the meeting, I can end the meeting for either myself or for everyone. So let's say I need to leave the meeting, but I want them to keep discussion. If I click end meeting, here's where it gives me the option to end for all or just leave the meeting. If I accidentally leave the meeting, so one person had asked, what if I close out? All you have to do is go back into Canvas and click join again. Your meeting is still there, it's not deleted, you just need to go back into it. So I'm going to end the meeting for all. I was recording it, it automatically stops the recording, or I could go on the top and click stop recording. And now I'm going to have you go back. You should still have your meeting window up with the CSB+SJU.zoom.us. I want you to go back to that window so I can show you where the recordings go and some of the options from here. If it's not still open, you can either go to csb+SJU.zoom.us, or probably a quicker way is when I go to the main website, I can go to Tools, and Zoom video conferencing is the middle section.
Leave.
And then I would sign back in.
So I know what I've got.
And we're going to just go through a few of the settings. So if you needed to update any of your settings for Zoom or want to view where your recordings go or your meetings, this is where you would go to do that. Your first tab you're on is your profile tab. And you'll notice you have a little avatar here with change. If you want to add an image of yourself, how that would be used is if you were doing just audio and not video, you saw my name at first, it didn't have a picture, it would bring up this picture of you. So if you were just doing audio recording, you might want to add an image of yourself so that shows instead of just your name. And I just go here and it allows me to upload it where I have it saved. Click on your Meetings tab on the far left. And this is where you'll view any meetings that you've scheduled. You can set up a meeting from here, but it's easier through Canvas because then it's actually in your course and students can access it through there. But here it shows me the meetings and I could start my meeting right from here as well. Next on the far left, choose Recordings.
Yeah, my name.
So after you do a recording, here's where it goes, and notice mine is still processing. Once it's done processing, it also sends you an email telling you that your recording is ready. If it's a longer class, it may take up 15 minutes to a half an hour to finish. This one was pretty short that I did the recording, so within probably 2 to 5 minutes it should be done. Notice the ones that I did earlier, you do have some options. So if I click Share, a dialog box comes up and it shows me if I want to share it publicly or only authenticated users. And then it gives me the meeting details that I could copy and I could send this to someone to share it. Close out of that. You also have a More tab. So I could download this file. After 30 days, these files do disappear. So if you want to keep this as a recording for the future, make sure and download it and save it to OneDrive, your M Drive, or some other space. If you want to add it into Canvas, you could download the file and then upload it to Canvas, or you could take this share link and this URL, you could copy and paste that as a link into Canvas, like a Canvas assignment, a Canvas page. Students could click on it and watch the recording. So you could do that either way. And then go ahead and choose Settings, because I wanted to point something out here that someone had mentioned. These are the settings for Zoom. You shouldn't have to change these settings. The only one you might want to change is scroll down to Chat. And this was a concern under Chat. Notice Private Chat. Allow meeting participants to chat one-on-one. I would turn that off. Otherwise, the students in your class can chat privately one-on-one and you don't see that chat. So I would turn that off. They can still chat with you, you can chat with them, but then they're not kind of going back and forth with each other chatting. And this does have to be turned off here, and once you save it, it's on for all it's off for all meetings. So you only have to do it once, and then you can always come back and turn it back on if you need to.
So when it's blue, it's off.
When it's blue, it's on. So you would click it. So by default, it's on.
Oh, okay.
So if I want to turn it off, I click it to turn it off, and it tells you I'm turning it off. So it gives you that little warning. The other thing that I do want to show you is if you scroll up just a little bit, on the left-hand side, there's video tutorials. And these are put together by Zoom. And if you click into those video tutorials, these are really short 1 to 2 minute tutorials, but it goes through everything in Zoom. How to join a meeting, all the meeting controls that I went to. So you can always come back here to watch one of these videos, or you could share it with a student if they have questions on how to do this. So that's a really good resource for you. I also gave you an information sheet. I'm going to close out of this for right now. So now, any questions that you guys might have about anything I went over or you want to see again? Mark?
I was just wondering if the students are already set up for Zoom. They should be when they go into Canvas.
So they would have to log into csb+SJU.zoom.us just like you did for the first time. And then they can go into Canvas. As long as you drag Zoom out of settings to the navigation, they can click in and join the meeting.
And I would just want to mention, when they get that, click on that, they have the option to open in Zoom client, or there's the open in browser kind of right below it. So if they don't have Zoom downloaded on their computer, they can open it through a browser then instead.
All right, so next I want to show you a feature called Lockdown Browser. So I'm going to close out of my Zoom meeting. So if you're in any Zoom, you can close out of Zoom. But I want you to have a window open and go back to Canvas. And you can go into one of your courses. So what Lockdown Browser is, you can create a quiz in Canvas and you can add it to this Lockdown Browser feature. When the students take the quiz, it locks down everything else on their computer. They can't do it through a phone. It has to be through a PC or a Mac. But then they can't open up any other browser windows, they can't go to email. It's just locked down to that quiz and that's it. So how you do that, you first create your quiz in Canvas, and once you do that, in Canvas in all the courses, you should see on the left navigation Lockdown Browser. I'm going to click on that, and we do have instructions out there exactly how to do this and how students download this on their either PCs or Macs. Here are the quizzes that I already have set up. You'll see any quiz that is set up through Canvas, and you would go to the right here and add the Lockdown Browser. Let me see if I can. So basically, when you click on the right, it won't say required, it'll say add, and it'll bring you to the settings right here. Required for the exam, you'll check mark that, and as soon as I save and close this, the students open up Lockdown Browser, it opens the exam, and they can only see the exam. I mean, they could have their phone sitting next to them, of course, but they are locked in their computer to this exam. So that's also a feature that's added that you can use for quizzing within Canvas. And if I go to our website, this work continuity, and you should have received an email with the link to this page. This has all of your resources on it too. So it should have a link to information on Lockdown Browser. OneDrive, I did give you a handout for OneDrive. And then any additional information if you need any training or help or Zoom help, it should have resources and help links on it. Does anybody else have any other questions? And if you do, if something comes up and you do a trial with this, please let us know. You can either contact the help desk or one of us and just let us know what questions you might have.